Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to the Mailbox, which I have not done in ages. Yeah, I'm bringing this back. I figured I might as well. It's a useful thing to have, honestly, just because it sort of works as a running FAQ, I guess. And I don't really know why I stopped doing it. I think it was just because it was becoming a pain in the arse, because I, for some reason, felt the need to put background gameplay footage on it, which was always a bit of a pain in the arse to record, especially just for that. So this time I've not bothered. You're just getting a background that isn't really going to move much or anything. So to be honest with you, you might as well just minimize the tab or whatever and listen to it like a podcast or something, because I'm lazy and there's not going to be anything to watch. So anyway, moving on. Normally, for those who are new to the channel and don't know what this is, the Mailbox is essentially a thing whereby I answer viewer questions. What the idea was once a week, but it kind of ended up being more like once a month in the end. But I'm going to try and make this a more regular thing. Basically, I will answer viewer questions from the comment section of the previous episode of the Mailbox, or from questions I've gotten over Twitter and just elsewhere and that sort of general thing. Obviously, since the last episode of the Mailbox was fucking ages ago, and most of the questions on it aren't really relevant anymore, I've just picked a bunch of questions which just keep coming up regularly on comments and on posts people have made to me on Twitter and stuff in general. So I'm going to answer those, basically. And that's what I'm going to be doing this week. And then at the end of the video, I'll probably, hopefully, remember to tell you to leave your questions in the comment section, and I will endeavour to answer the more interesting ones on the next Mailbox episode. That's essentially how it works. So anyway, without further ado, the first question of the day is one which I get quite often, which is, will you play the Witcher games, or will you be playing The Witcher 3? I will be playing The Witcher 3. I have it pre-ordered on Amazon, as a matter of fact, actually, so I'm getting it one way or the other. But as for whether I'll let's play them, I don't really know, to be honest with you, because the main problem I have with it is I can't be asked to play The Witcher 1 again. It wasn't a bad game, but it was a bit of a pain in the arse, and I never actually finished it in the end, which is a bit of a rare thing for me. I rarely move on to the second part of a series without finishing the first one. But with The Witcher, I had to make an exception, because I got about 2/3 of the way into it, and I just got bored as fuck. And I wanted to move on and play The Witcher 2, which is a lot better anyway. So I basically just used Wikipedia and watched a few videos on YouTube to get myself up to speed, and I moved on to The Witcher 2. And I'm playing that at the minute, actually. I'm doing a run of that. And I should hopefully have finished it just in time for me to start playing The Witcher 3. So yeah, Let's Playing it is a kind of a weird thing, because not only are they ridiculously long games, which I have enough of that shit on my channel right now, long RPGs with like a bazillion episodes. But also, yeah, it would feel odd to me to start Let's Playing The Witcher 2 or The Witcher 3 right off the bat without doing the previous game, or games. Just for some reason, I don't like the idea of doing that in a Let's Play format. Fine, if I'm just playing it by myself, yeah, I can skip a game if I want to, but it's like if I was going to do a Let's Play of Mass Effect, which, you know, people ask me about sometimes as well, and the answer's probably not, to be honest, but if I play it by myself, I usually just skip the first game, because I don't really like it that much, but if I was Let's Playing it, I would feel obliged to do the first game anyway. So yeah, the short version is I can't be asked to play The Witcher 1 again, and therefore I probably won't. Maybe in the distant future. Once I've finished a bunch of the Elder Scrolls Let's Plays. Maybe, but not right now. No, I'm not going to be bothering. I'm going to just I'm going to play The Witcher 3. I'm probably going to enjoy it by myself. I may stream it if I feel like it, but yeah, I won't be doing a series on YouTube of it. So, yeah. Sorry. Next question is similar one. Will you Let's Play Pillars of Eternity? And the answer is maybe a long time from now. Same reasons as The Witcher, really. I already have lots of very long RPGs being LP'd on this channel. I do not need to add yet another one to the mix. I do like Pillars of Eternity. I have to admit, I haven't played it in a couple of weeks, because I've just had other shit to do, but it is quite good. I do like it, and maybe one day I will LP it, but right now, no. I already have a freaking stream series of Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition anyway, which is such a similar game. There's just no point in doing Pillars of Eternity on top of that, so... anyway. Yeah, so, moving on next... Yeah, speaking of Baldur's Gate, when will the next Baldur's Gate stream be? Well, the answer to that is I don't really know. It will be soon, though, I swear to God. I haven't given up on it or anything like that. I just really haven't had the time or felt like playing it recently. To be honest with you, I'm normally very busy in the evenings, which is when I would normally be streaming, especially lately. I just haven't had the time to do any streaming type stuff whatsoever. Not that I don't really want to. I'd like to get back to it, because I like those streams, because we get a lot done in them. And it's like being able to let's play a game, but it's much faster, because you don't have to upload over a course of weeks and weeks and weeks. You can just play it for like 4 hours in one go, which is pretty cool. I like that, so... We'll be coming back soon. I will announce it in advance, but like I said, I've been busy in the evenings, which means that I've not been able to sort of start properly doing a stream at like sort of 8-9 PM onwards, because I'm busy at 8-9 PM onwards. So anyway, next question was, what would have happened to the Idris Oblivion Let's Play had it not been cut short by the weird bollocks that happened to it? I didn't really have a set plan for this, and this question gets asked a lot, but I didn't really have a set plan for this at all, honestly. I was kind of making it up as I went along. Obviously, he seemed to be getting a bit more doolally as it went on, both through just character development and through some of the weird glitches in the game, which I was choosing to explain away as him being a little bit just bonkers. So yeah, I was thinking maybe in the end, I hadn't decided whether or not I was going to do the Shivering Isles, and that would be the last thing I did with the Let's Play. I might have decided to just do the Shivering Isles, because that's a really cool expansion, but finding the justification to do it, on the other hand, with most characters, is a bit tricky, because the end result, obviously, is that you become Sheogorath, which means, I don't know, you have to have a character that kind of suits that, honestly, and you have to come to terms with the fact that your character's basically going to die in some form or another as a result of it. So, at the beginning of the Let's Play, it's not something I really considered, but as the LP went on and it just started to get more and more batshit insane, it actually started to fit more and more, so that's kind of what I was thinking I might have done in the end. I might have just done the Shivering Isles and called it an end at that. So, yeah, I wasn't going to continue him into Skyrim. I've said this many, many times. If I ever do another Skyrim Let's Play, it won't be with Idris in Skyrim, so stop asking. So yeah, that's it really. Sorry to disappoint, it probably doesn't sound very interesting, but that's it. I was also thinking of maybe doing the Tears of the Fiend quest mod as well, but I was on the fence about that as well, because quest mods for Oblivion can be buggy. The one regret I had with that LP was the fact that I was playing a High Elf Mage, and therefore the Knights of the Nine was just right out. That was never going to happen. Which is a shame, because Knights of the Nine Revelation is probably one of the best quest mods ever made for an Elder Scrolls game. But I'm hoping we might be able to fix that with Zog. So, anyway. Moving on. Why am I currently uploading 4 episodes of Skyrim each week, whereas the other LPs get 2 episodes at most? The reason for that is I'm running out of hard drive space, and I need to get Skyrim uploaded faster. As some of you, well, most of you should probably be aware by now, but in case you're not, I have actually finished recording Skyrim Chapter 5. I finished it some weeks ago, and I've basically just been sat on my arse dealing with the other Let's Plays in the meantime. I haven't been doing any Skyrim stuff aside from mod testing for Chapter 6. So yeah, that's done and dusted, and the problem is I built up lots and lots of episodes over the course of about a couple of weeks where I just played it almost non-stop. And they're just clogging up my hard drive, taking up loads of space, and I need them gone. So I'm uploading 4 episodes, 4 between half an hour and an hour long episodes a week, which I know is like kind of ridiculously huge, but what else can I do? I just need it off my hard drive and onto YouTube so that I can clear space to do other stuff. Yeah, that's it really. That's the simple explanation, and it's the only explanation ultimately. I need it gone and done so that I can get my hard drive freed up, so I can do other things, and then so I can get going on Chapter 6 eventually. Yep, that's the only reason why. People sometimes ask as well, why are the Oblivion episodes shorter than the other ones? It's not through design, it's simply the way that they got... The episodes got split in Sony Vegas when I was editing them together. I've said this before, I don't do a standard amount of time for my episodes of LPs. I literally just pick a good start point and a good end point based on what's happened in the episode. So that's why you'll get some episodes which are 20 minutes long, and some you'll get like around an hour and 10 minutes long. So that's just how it works. I don't have a standard amount of time for an episode to last. It's just as long as it needs to be. Next question. Oh yeah, this is an old chestnut I've had for a long time. Will you ever do a Daggerfall LP? Short answer, no. Long answer, no. To coin a phrase from, I think, Yahtzee, who might have come up with that originally, but anyway. Yeah, no, never. I've streamed Daggerfall once. You can see the stream of it on my channel. And it should explain, pretty much, just that one video should explain why I will never do a Daggerfall Let's Play. That game is excruciating. I love it, and I also really, really hate it in almost equal measure. You know, it's a cool game, except the dungeons are terrible. And unfortunately, the dungeons will make up about 50% of the game, so what can you do? For those that haven't played Daggerfall, basically the dungeons, apart from the main quest dungeons in Daggerfall, they're all randomly generated, and they are massive, and there are no quest markers, and the mini-map is, well, the 3D map you get is dreadful, so you end up getting lost in these things, and you can't find your way back to the exit. In fact, usually I pretty much always play magic characters in Daggerfall, just because they get a spell which teleports you back to the exit. Of course, if you leave a dungeon in Daggerfall, however, and you come back in, all the enemies are immediately respawned as well, so you can't go away and then get more gear and potions and things and come back and finish where you left off. No, you've got to kill everything all over again. Yeah, so what quests usually break down to in Daggerfall is, a thing, an Atronach escaped, / there is an ancient artifact, / there is a McGubbin in XYZ dungeon, which I want you to go fetch. You have 30 days to do it. Off you go. Off you pop. You go off to the dungeon, you go in there, you spend about 3 to 4 hours muddling around this place, looking for this one fucking item, which could be anywhere in there, and eventually you just rage quit and give up, and you don't come back to the game until like a year later, when you've forgotten why it was you quit in the first place. So yeah, that's why I will never play Daggerfall on the channel, because it's a terrible game. I'm sorry, but it is. Oh, dear. Anyway, moving on. Will you ever Let's Play The Elder Kings / Elder Scrolls Total War? Answer, no. I feel like I'm being a bit negative on this fucking Mailbox video now. Actually, the answer to everything is going to be no. But no, sorry, that's just what it is. Why? For those who don't know, obviously Elder Scrolls Total War, I think, is a mod for one of the Total War games that adds Elder Scrolls stuff into it. The Elder Kings is a similar mod for Crusader Kings 2. The answer to both of them is very simple. I am a nerd who enjoys real-life history more than Elder Scrolls history. And that's all it comes down to. If I'm going to play a Total War game, then I'm going to... Well, I'm going to pick one of the many mods available that are of far better quality, that cover actual periods of real human history, rather than bullshit Elder Scrolls history. I'm sorry, but that's just how I feel. The same goes for Crusader Kings 2. One of the things I like about Crusader Kings 2 is its approach to, and all the Paradox games, frankly, as well, is the fact that it's all based on real history. You get to insert yourself into a period in Earth's history and fuck about with it, essentially. I don't really there's just no real appeal for me to jump into the Elder Scrolls universe in a Crusader Kings 2 kind of a fashion. I just don't see the point. I appreciate people who enjoy it, but no, not for me. It's just not, I'm afraid. It's not my thing. Same reason I've never played the Game of Thrones mod for Crusader Kings 2. I'm just not interested. Admittedly, the Game of Thrones mod sounds like it'd probably be better because it takes place in a world that's more geared towards that kind of gameplay that the game actually offers you in the first place, but still, I'm not that interested. I'd rather just play in real medieval Europe as opposed to fake fantasy medieval Europe. It's, well, it's personal preference, what can I say? As for why, it just occurs to me now, as for why the Crusader Kings 2 Let's Play I did ended, the short answer to that, and I've explained it before, but I'll just do it again now because we're on the subject. The short answer to that is Paradox updated the game. I think they released a new expansion or two, and it broke the save game. Basically, my character, I loaded up the game, and my character's coat of arms had inexplicably changed colour. I didn't really know why that happened. And also, he had been given the trait Emperor of Rome, even though he was still just the Duke of York. Yeah, the game fucked up, essentially, after one of the updates, and so it was. I didn't even want to try playing it at that point. It was just like, yeah, this is broken. If I go any further, it's just going to get more and more broken, so there's no point. As to whether or not I'll do another Crusader Kings 2 Let's Play, maybe. The only thing is I'd have to really set myself a goal to achieve within the playthrough, because if you just sit down and play, right, okay, we're going to LP Crusader Kings 2 for the hell of it, let's go, you will be there for like 500 episodes, because a game of Crusader Kings 2 can last forever and ever and ever. It's the game doesn't end when your character dies, it ends when you've got no heirs left. And if you're half competent at the game, that's very unlikely to happen. So, it will have its ups and downs, your family history will go all over the place, you'll lose territory, you'll gain territory, but it will go on and on and on and on until you get to the end date of the game. Which is a long, long-ass time. Let me tell you, I've never once managed to get all the way to the end date of the game, and I've played games of Crusader Kings 2 that lasted for like 20 hours or more. So, yeah, no, if I do Crusader Kings 2 again, it will have to be, I'll have to sit down and say, right, my goal is going to become Holy Roman Emperor, or it's going to become Emperor of Britannia, or something like that. Brittenwalde, as they called it, King of the Britons. But yeah, it would have to be something like that, rather than just sort of, one of the reasons I like the Total War games is because they have that short victory option, which allows you to just sort of play the game for a bit, achieve a very specific goal, and then there you go, job's done. The Invasion Barbarorum Let's Play I did ages ago, that ended because I lost all the fucking recordings because my hard drive corrupted its ass, but I was actually really close to the end of that anyway. I had managed to record all the way to pretty much the end of the campaign because I had managed to achieve the victory conditions. I needed to capture, I think the Let's Play, the final episode that's up, involved me capturing a town in France, and basically the way it continued on from that is I captured 2 more towns in sort of Normandy and that area, and then basically the pop-up message came up and said, you win! Because I was ruler of the British Isles, and I had conquered the prerequisite a number of provinces on the continent, and that was it. So that LP was actually very close to the end anyway, so, But yeah. Moving on to the final question of the day before I go, because I've got an appointment in about half an hour, which I don't want to miss. The final question of the day is, and this is the one that gets posted all the sodding time, why don't you upload in 60 FPS? Well, there are a number of reasons for this. The first is that I don't have the hard drive space. For those that don't realise this, 60 FPS videos take up twice the amount of hard drive space that 30 FPS videos do. Because they're twice as many frames per second, essentially, which means that the video is twice as big. This has a knock-on effect as well, because it means that the videos take twice as long to render. They also take twice as long to upload. and it basically takes you twice as long to do everything else. Like, if I wanted to actually start uploading in 60 FPS, I'd probably need to buy like another hard drive entirely, or just get a hard drive that's twice as big as the one I have at the minute. That's the essential arithmetic of it. I don't have enough free hard drive space to record in 60 FPS. Aside from that, it has a bigger performance impact when you're trying to record, which is a pain in the bum. And not to mention the fact that a lot of the games that I play, I don't get 60 FPS when I'm playing them anyway. So there's not really much to be gained. I mean, Morrowind in particular is a really bad one, because like the engine's kind of badly optimized. With all the graphical improvements, quite often it will drop to around 30 FPS anyway when I'm walking around towns and that sort of thing. So there would be nothing gained there by having 60 FPS video anyway, because it would just be, you'd be watching it in like 32 FPS instead of 30. I mean, what's the fucking point of that? When you get to that level, you know. Even Skyrim, with all the graphic improvements I've got for it now, in some areas like in towns and stuff, I'm hovering around 40 to 50 FPS rather than 60. Oblivion is another one. Oblivion's very much the same. Oblivion has some terrible frame rate drops in places because of all the mods I've got. You know, it's just, you wouldn't really be gaining much. You know, if anything, it would become more noticeable, because you'd be watching it in 60 FPS at some parts, but then I'd enter an area and then it would really drop, and you don't notice that very much in a 30 FPS video, but you would in a 60 FPS video. Believe me. The other reasons are really just that it doesn't really work properly with all browsers yet. I have HTML5 enabled in Firefox at the minute, and I swear to God the 60 FPS only seems to work half the time anyway. Like, it'll only work for like half the video or bits of the video, and it's very jarring when it switches. So that's a problem. And also, I don't really generally enjoy watching 60 FPS videos myself. I don't know, I'm a bit of a weirdo when it comes to that sort of thing. I like playing my games at 60 FPS, but that's because it improves the controls input. It makes everything feel more precise and accurate, and that sort of thing. The visual aspect of it, I really don't give much of a shit about. Which means that whenever I watch a game being played at 60 FPS rather than playing it myself, it always looks a bit odd to me. It has that sort of weird soap opera effect, you know, where you know, everything sort of looks a bit odd. If you've watched like cheap soap operas, especially on British television, you'll know exactly what I mean when I say the soap opera effect. But otherwise, I don't really know how to explain it. But it just looks odd. And certainly when 60 FPS videos started to go up originally, I actually felt a bit dizzy watching them, if you can believe it. And I'd just switch it back to 30. You know, it's not the case anymore. I could certainly watch a 60 FPS video, but it still looks a bit strange to me. I prefer watching in 30 FPS, because that's what films and TV work at. In fact, well, they actually work at 24, I think. But you see my point. It just, I just prefer it. I don't like playing at 30 FPS or anything below that, don't get me wrong, but that, like I said, it's a controls thing. Input type jobby, especially if you're playing a game with mouse and keyboard. Especially if it's mouse and keyboard, then it gets really noticeable if your frame rate's low. But yeah, other than that, that's why. That in a nutshell is why I don't upload in 60 FPS. Takes longer to render, upload, more hard drive space, and 60 FPS videos on YouTube are kind of broken anyway. If you're not using Chrome. So, and I don't use Chrome because Chrome just crashes all the time with me. It's dreadful, actually. In case you're wondering, why don't you use Chrome? Why are you using Firefox? Because Firefox doesn't crash as often. That's the sole reason. So maybe I need to reinstall Chrome or something. But yeah, it's pretty fucking rubbish. You can use the thing for like 5 minutes, and it will just kill itself. It'll get stuck loading something or whatever. I don't know what's wrong with it, but anyway. Topic for another time, I guess. So yeah, everybody, that's it. I've rushed this a little bit compared to what I normally would. Hence this only being about 24 minutes instead of like fucking 45 minutes or something. But that's because, like I said, I need to go. So yeah, I will bid you adieu now, folks. If you've got more questions, leave them in the comments. There's no guarantee I will answer them, because I always just pick the ones that I find most interesting rather than answering every single question. Because we'd be here forever if I did that, and half of them have already been asked before anyway, so yeah, post your comments in the comments section, and your questions and stuff and whatever, and I will answer them next week, or whenever the next Mailbox video is actually up. So anyway, yeah, ta-ta for now, and I'll see you again soon.